wife will give a reflection and speak about her experience of this last experience at Belvedere. Wow, the mic is good. I think I need a little bit more. I'm reading from Young Wei Kim's talk that he gave in the springtime in May. Has anybody read that speech? Okay, it's just this year in May, and I'm just going to read excerpts from it. So it starts, are you ready? Where are there more people living on the earth? On the earth or in the spirit world? Where are there more people living? On the earth or in the spiritual world?
Spirit world.
Where?
Spirit world.
Yes. You cannot compare the two. Many, many more live in the spirit world. Now, where do we live? We live on earth, where there is 7.5 billion people living now. How many are there? How many are in the spirit world? Can you imagine? Anybody have a guess? How many are living in the spirit world? Anybody? 5? So one person said where he was speaking, he said 25 billion. Another answer is 25 billion. No. More than 1 trillion. How long is the history of Homo sapiens, modern men? How long? How old do you think it is? Many archaeologists have done surveys around the world, especially in hot areas like South America and Africa, and they could find the same bones as in modern man 35,000 years ago. So from this we can understand that human history is longer than 35,000 years. Today, biology has highly developed the study of genes, of DNA. From the evolution of genes, the DNA, they have found that human history should be at least more than 50,000 years long. How many generations could that be? Can you imagine? More than 1,800 generations. In that case, how many people could be in the spirit world? In Africa and other hot areas, how many children do women bear? Even in the United States at one time. In one family, how many children do they give birth to? Sometimes 10 or 12. Of course, they did not have good medical systems and could not feed their children well. Therefore, many children die. But those that die do arrive where? In the spirit world. Once man is born, the spirit man never disappears. They go to the spirit world. Therefore, an unbelievable number of people are living in the spirit world. Father said that. Therefore, Father's concern is much more for the spirit world, spirit men, the salvation of spirit men. How can he do that? No one really has ever done anything for the salvation of spirit men in the spirit world. In 1997, in America, that was a time when we were blessing people throughout the world in the 40 million couple blessing group. At that time, Father conducted the blessing ceremony. Father blessed 5 great saints at that time. He blessed 5 great saints and 3 devils. Did you know that? Who were the 5 great saints? Who? You guys know? Somebody knows, right? 5 great saints. Audience participation. Jesus, Buddha, Confucius, Muhammad, and Socrates, 5. Who were the 3 devils? Do you know? Stalin, Hitler, and one more. Even though those killers were terrible killers, Father blessed them with the 3 great saints. Why did he do that? It was to shock people. a type of shock therapy for the spirit world. Because by giving the blessing to those devils, evil spirits in the spirit world, the entire spirit world began to shake. It was shaken because those evil guys could be blessed. Those that had done worse things than others were blessed. So why not us? Everyone came to have hope for the blessing. That was Father's strategy, to shake up the spirit world. It was as if Satan had built a wall between Satan's side and God's side. This is very important. It was as if Satan had built a wall between Satan's side and God's side. No one could go over that wall. They'd be stopped. But this blessing of 3 devils was like making a small hole in the wall, as if it were a dam. If a small hole is made in a dam, what happens? As time goes by, the dam gradually begins to collapse. That is why I say it was shock therapy. You know, so Young Wei Kim, you know, he's the organizer behind creating Chun Sun Gyung. So he says, when I made Chun Sun Gyung, I asked my colleagues to find what Father said about wanting to establish education institutes in the spirit world. To have ancestral liberation, there must be educational institutes in the spiritual world. Otherwise, we cannot do this. Do you think Satan allowed the establishment of educational institutes in the spirit world before that? No. If they were established and spirit men could go and get educated, what would happen to him, to Satan? He would lose power. Therefore, he did not want to. He never allowed the establishment of education in the spirit world. Hyung Jinim died in 1984, and when Father sent him to the spirit world, you know what he said? You know what he said to him? I'm sending you in my place. I'm sending you in my place. And in 1989, Daemonim, True Mother's mother, died. At that time, Father also gave a mission to her, telling her that she was going to the spirit world representing Mother. So in the spirit world, from that time, as representatives of Father and Mother, they began to work. They did Jongsan, prayer work, and all kinds of things. Other members, blessed couples who were in the spirit world, worked with them. Based on all those things combined, Father could establish educational institutes in the spirit world. This was actually revolutionary work. Because of this is very interesting, divine principle must be changed. Do you realize that? Do you understand that? We say in the resurrection theory that all spirit men must come to earth, come to us, right? On our foundation, our spiritual foundation, they can resurrect. We say that. Is that right? For spirit men to resurrect, they have to use the foundation of men on earth. That is written in the divine principle. Isn't that right? They also have to listen to the divine principle and practice it, the spirit men. Because of that, for them to resurrect, they have to come down when we listen to the divine principle in order to listen to it with us. In that way, they can hear divine principle lectures. Now, with the educational institutes in the spirit world, they can learn divine principle directly from there. Which is easier? To hear it directly in the spirit world, or to come here to listen? You cannot compare the two. Learning in the spirit world is much easier. Also, is it easy for you to witness and to bring people to our church? The reason it is difficult is that people deny the existence of God in the spirit world. They do not realize that God exists. They are unaware of the spirit world. They are unaware of their own spirit body within their physical body. To help them understand This is very difficult. Therefore, it is difficult to bring people to our church. But how about in the spirit world? Are they aware of God's existence? Of course they are. They are living in the spirit world. Explaining the existence of the spirit world to them is unnecessary. They understand everything. So it's easy to bring them. Not only that, but on earth, even if people agree with our teachings, they still say, oh, I have to eat, I have to wear clothes, I have to have a house, I have, excuse me, I have to have a job to pay my living costs. If they have children, they say, oh, I have to feed my children, I have to educate them. Because of that, I cannot go. This is what they say, isn't that right? But in the spirit world, you don't have to eat. You don't have to worry about clothing. You don't need a house. It's already there. You don't need a job either. Therefore, is it easy or difficult for them to come? Easy. We think that witnessing in the spirit world is much easier than it is on earth. Therefore, Father put more emphasis on the salvation of spirit men in the spirit world. To help Father's plan, what do we have to do? To help Father's plan, what do we have to do? We have to cooperate with Father by going to Champyong and doing ancestor liberation and ancestor blessing. Of course, Champyong is coming to us this evening. By the way, where is holy wine? We have to go through the holy wine ceremony and blessing ceremony after matching to have a blessed marriage. By drinking holy wine, we can change our bloodline. But holy wine is not in the spirit world. Did you know that? Holy wine exists only on earth. Father made it to save people on earth, those who have a physical body. Therefore, for their blessing ceremony, all the spirit men, after they finish 100 days of training, this is very important, after 100 days of training, we are familiar with this now, right? They have to come to earth. Therefore, for their blessing ceremony, all spirit men, after they finish 100 days of training, have to come to earth. That is why we go to Champyong or the ceremonies, to have their blessing ceremony. During such a blessing, they come and we hold their holy wine in cups they drink from spiritually. Through this, they can receive the blessing. They have to come down through us, or their bloodline will not change. Okay, thank you. If anybody wants to get this speech, it is available online with trueparents.org. Reverend Youngby Kim gave it in May of this year. Okay, thank you, Alice.
Good morning, everybody. So wonderful to see everybody here on a rainy day. I hope my husband and my presentation will bring sunniness to your heart, spirit, and mind. The title of my sermon is Renewal of Faith. And this is going to be probably my experience at the Hyunjin workshop that we had in New York this past October the 5th and 6th. I had a wonderful, or we can say a deep, profound experience there. It was like my ha-ha moment. I don't know if anyone knows what it means, ha-ha moment. It means a point of clarity or understanding. Like, I got it. Now, as for me, the thought of cleansing the ancestors was unheard of. For a long time in Western religious cultures, or especially Christian faiths, we're taught not to have anything to do with spirits. Spirits were always looked upon as demonic. Many people were burned at the stake. You heard about the 7 witches? Well, that's not only this thing. They mentioned, if you're mentioned hearing, seeing things, innocent people, died because of what they could hear and what they could not see. It was like a higher frequency. But normal people who could not hear it thought that they were strange. So, these people were crucified or persecuted. When we were at the workshop in New York State, Professor Moon explained about the different levels of frequency. The higher you go, the more energy you have, and the more of the energy becomes clear. Now, this was very interesting. When I was in Cheongpyeong in the 1990s, well, I traveled there because Father asked us to go there, who was going to be a part of the foreign missions. I could not grasp the deep meaning of the Cheongpyeong province. No one really explained it to me, the meaning of it at that time. I arrived a day late to make things worse. They were already in a Changyang session. To me, it was like a powwow, drumming, dancing, clapping of the hands. That's what it seemed like to me, without any explanation. During my second week or so, I started to feel some presence of God speaking to me. At this time, Daimonim would come and visit us, encouraging us to repent for our ancestors, so they could help us with our foreign mission fields. One experience I had when I visited the Tree of Life, another one was the Blessing Tree and the Fountain of Pure Water. There was a gushing of warmth surrounding me. Later, when I went out on foreign mission, I felt God's presence with us, our family. There was a lot of unusual heavenly protection for me and my whole family. I feel if they weren't there, you know, we could have got killed. That's how it was. With 3 small children. Jacob was 6.5 months, and my 2 other little ones at the time, 4 and 6. We were in a country that didn't like us, but God sent us there. Coming back to America, our family participated in other ceremonies with the wish papers and Changyang sessions at that time, like one in Newark and a couple in New York State again. Now we come to the present time. Well, this time was really different. I really felt the presence of my family's ancestors. They were trying to really connect with me and the providence of God. Now this is interesting. It wasn't just my ancestors, but my husband's ancestors as well. They realized I was there for them. I could really feel the connection much deeper than before. Professor Moon said, the physical world is on our left side, okay, and the spirit world is on our right side, presence, the sphere. I felt the right side really eager in wanting me to know that their presence in my life only if we could let them in. Like they were knocking on the spiritual door. They were there not overpowering me or powering us, but really wanting to work with us in accomplishing our missions here on earth. This is truly a special time in history. The spirit world is close at hand. America's future is very important. The reason why America has many problems is that people need to be saved. Ancestors need to be liberated, especially our members' ancestors. They need to go to the workshop and receive education from Heavenly Parent and Father Moon in the spirit world. This is what my husband was talking about. They need direct education, your spirits, your ancestors. Ancestors will come back and assist in helping their descendants on the earth. This is practical every day. They will help you. I have experience with that. They will come and practically help you if you let them in. President Dunkley traveled to all the presidents who had passed at their grave sites this past summer, reading and praying for them, making conditions so that they can be liberated. He didn't only stop there, but him and the staff did conditions for people from the Mayflower who traveled over, who many died or sacrificed, you know, for this nation to really start out for God. Even Michael Jackson, Prince, people who signed the Constitution, Frederick Douglass, and more people in recent history, or recent time, missionaries who died. In America, who went to the spirit world, people made conditions for them. And so I hope our one brother, James Coleman, who was a missionary here, I sent his name to be recognized and give special condition for it. These things are real.
Amen.
Like I mentioned earlier, America is an important nation that has a wonderful foundation that God wants to use in order to liberate the world. Just not America, the world. America has so many resources because of God's blessing America for the sake of the world. You know the time when Jesus had the last days and when he died, it was the Pentecostal experience. People were talking in tongues. The Christian missionaries, the missionaries or the Christians of churches always talk about the Pentecost, the upstairs, receiving so much vivid revelation. Well, this is time again, this Pentecost is here. You know? Right. It's the Pentecost for us to realize our time is here. Not just for our own self, but for everybody's sake. We see people dying on the streets, people overdosing. You know, these people, all these people died. Why? Why did they die? Because they were bringing sin, tarnishing other people. They had billions of dollars, but they used the resources for the wrong purpose. We truly live in a time of deep blessing and liberation for everyone. Now, my personal belief, Reverend Moon and Mrs. Moon are true liberators and teachers who can save the hearts and minds of people. You know, we have to realize when we say Father Moon and Mother Moon, they're always taking care of us. Fathers in the spiritual have these workshops. He has workshops for the people to go to be saved, always constantly thinking about the people, about members, about people who are dying. What is it? Fathers think about all these billions of people who are dying, having no education. Well, now they have this education in the spiritual realm. Amen. And then, True Mother, you know, she's always worried about, you know, her last pledge to Father was to find 7 nations that could truly unite with her. She already found some. This has been her travel all throughout the 7-year course. Always wanting to really make sure everybody's taken care of. Yeah. Even the people in the Islands of Glory, you know, who really traveled to Africa unless they were trying to dig for their natural resources. You know, this is really amazing. Yeah. And these people could really sense she's a mother. You know, she's really taking care of her. Everybody, not just some people, everybody, poor, rich, you know, not so rich, not so poor, everybody. So this is why I call this is a time of renewal in our faith, in our hearts, in our minds. We have to open up. This is a new, unprecedented way we're going in our faith. So please, even though it sounds strange now, we have to overcome our old theories. Right. And we have to let God work. Please, brothers and sisters, let God work in your life. Life is not easy. But if you liberate your ancestors, they are your best friends. Because they know if you can achieve, they can achieve. So this is my Sunday service. Please, look for this time as a renewal. renewal in our faith, our hearts, and our minds. God bless everybody. Adieu.